Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Two Grown Men. Yes,
How you doing, guys?
Yes, we're in the same place.
We are in the same location, my brother. I've missed this guy, man. I've missed this guy.
It's been a while.
Brother.
It's been a while.
No more split screen. Huh? See, guys, no split screen. Huh? Huh?
We're here.
I can slap you.
Touch,
you can slap me.
I can conk his head.
But no violence. No violence on this show.
No violence. Yeah.
How you doing, man? How have you been?
I did. We're so in Nigeria. We're here.
How's Naija?
My brother, Naija is. I don't want to bitch about Nigeria.
Right.
But it's interesting. You know, things are tight. The economy is tight. It's biting, you know. But I say that, and then you tell me, but things are not great in Europe either. But some people say, but things are tough in the UK. There's inflation. I mean, some of it is self-inflicted when you guys are concerned.
Yes, of course.
Did the idiotic thing called
Brexit.
Idiotic.
Brexit.
Ultimate act of idiocy.
Yes.
And then there's that, and then somebody who lives in the US
Self-implosion.
Self-inflicted pain. And somebody also complained about somebody who lives in the US will also complain about inflation
and Trump.
And so I don't know if when I say, oh, Nigeria is tough, I think at this point in time, most people living in most countries would agree that the global economy, wherever they are, is tough.
Yes.
And so maybe I can't really complain about it. It's tough. Look, the issue is biting.
The problem is the person you're complaining to also has some kind of pain.
Problem, you know,
it's just that the magnitude. It's probably just the magnitude.
And that's the only distinction, honestly. It's just, and then the nature of the problems. But there are economic problems here. The economic problems in Nigeria, the economic problems in the UK.
Yes.
You guys are basically a third world country these days. Don't come for me.
Yes. Put it in the comments.
UK is basically a third world country.
Yes.
And when you see what's going on around the world, when you see what's going on in the US, see, I'm careful talking about the US because I have to go to America on the visa. And these people are now checking your social media handles and checking what
So we have to be careful.
So you have to be careful.
Yes.
But when you watch all that, you're like, is this real? You know, we grew up, and Hollywood did an amazing job of whitewashing the US for us, of presenting a particular face,
perfection,
you know, of the US. That with ongoing events, you're struggling to reconcile the US that you saw where they presented the legal system as almost perfect, where they presented the social justice, you know, equality, even the politics are somewhat balanced. And so when you see what you're seeing today, you're hard pressed to say,
is it the same US?
Is it America?
Yeah.
You know, is this the same America? And you know, you struggle to make sense of it. Some days I'm like, are you people crazy? Is there no adult in the room? Is this for real? You know, you're watching video clips and you're wondering if Martin Luther King or JFK were to wake up today
in 2025.
In 2025, if John McCain, who died how many years ago, was to wake up today and see this America, this Republican Party, I wonder if Ronald Reagan, you know, or any of the, you know, the so-called conservative greats were to wake up today and see America, I wonder if they recognize, you know, the people who were involved in the civil rights struggle.
In 65,
are they looking at it and wondering, hey, this is the same country. This is the country that we bled and died for. It's tough.
Very, very tough.
It's hard to reconcile. It's hard. But, you know, look, even the narratives, hard left, far right,
the center.
What is the center?
What's the center? Yeah.
Joe Biden, I always thought was center. You know, John McCain, I thought was center. Center of the Republican Party. Joe Biden was more centrist in the Democratic on the left. And so it's like, what is the center these days? I thought Barack Obama was more left leaning than center, and that Joe Biden was more centrist than Obama was.
Have your views changed?
No, it's just that, in fact, you're making Obama look very right. What's going on here? What's going on here? You know, the right has moved so far right.
Extreme, maybe.
Extreme.
In some cases, yeah.
And then you want to ask people, what are you guys thinking? You know that this thing is going to swing back, right? The hard right is enjoying themselves now. But historically, a swing this far always results in a swing in the opposite direction.
Yes.
So you're going to see a swing hard left in the next few years. Are you prepared to deal with all the precedents that you have set? Are you prepared to deal with all the things that you've done, all the consequences of the actions you've taken? And like I said, the consequences of the precedents that you have set. Is the right going to be happy for a left president, for a left-leaning president, for a liberal president, or liberal government to take the same steps, take the same liberties, push the same narratives, and do the same things? Would they not be losing their minds? Are you ready for this? Because everything that swings, there has to be a balance.
And there's policy somersaults, which we see almost every time they shift power from one, from Republicans to the Democrats. We see that somersault policy.
How does this end?
Yeah.
Like, how does this actually end?
Yeah.
Are we going to end up in a war? Is it going to be a civil war? Is it going to be a world war? What's going to happen? Who is pushing these buttons? What's going on?
Is there a new world order? We've been hearing this new world order.
There's a new world order.
But what's the agenda? And I want us to touch on immigration as well in this conversation.
Ever any other agenda other than world dominance?
No.
I think power has one objective, and that is to impose itself over the world around it. So when America was the dominant power, it imposed its will, whether through NATO or the United Nations or all these other organizations, whether it's the World Bank or whatever it is.
Or regime change. Yeah.
Imposing its will all over the world.
Yes.
And now everyone's like, and then the Russians had their day and they were pushing as well. And you had that battle for supremacy between the West and the East, between the Chinese between the Russians and the Americans.
And the Americans, yeah.
And at that time, I think China just sat back and watched and built their economy, while the rest of you burnt yourselves, especially Russia, burnt yourselves out, trying to outspend the US. And China is now in the ascendancy. I mean, China is there now. They have economic might. And they've done, what I like about the Chinese way of doing things is, they've not focused on military dominance.
Because it always used to be military dominance, whether it was the British with the warships or
French,
the French or the Russians, yes,
whatever it is, or Germany in World War II.
Yes.
What you're seeing now is the Chinese they're using the economic model, whether it's belts and roads, whether it's exporting technology,
whether it's building the cheapest thing en masse, such that you still make a profit, even when you add shipping and clearing and taxation costs to it.
And then there's something for everyone. You go into the manufacturing district of China and you'll find this phone, okay?
Yep.
Or this power bank. This, let's use this.
Yes.
This microphone
for our
set.
mics, yes.
Microphone set.
Yep.
You'll find in the manufacturing district there will be a microphone set that looks like this for $100. There'll be something that looks similar to this for $2,000. There was something that looks like this for $500. It's almost like at every
grade
point. Yes.
Okay, at every point.
Regardless what your purchasing power is, there's something for you. You want an Android phone. You want the $200 Android phone. The Chinese are making it. You want a $2,000 Android phone. The Chinese are
making it, yeah.
You're talking EVs, you want the Tesla rivaling expensive EV. The Chinese are making it. But you want the cheap EV. The Chinese are making it. You want the cheap phone. You want the cheap camera. Whatever it is you want. And we grew up with this misconception that Chinese things Chinese being made in China meant cheap. It's actually not true. You just have a product for every market. So you walk into a factory where they manufacture toilets, for example, and you'll find a $100 toilet, you'll find a $200 toilet, and a $500 toilet. If you're not careful, you can't tell the difference between the three of them.
But there's a quality
But the
difference.
difference is in quality.
Yes.
You know, in their durability.
The type of ceramic being used, the concentration of the materials.
After a while, one of them will remain pristine
For years.
For years,
Wow.
And it's down to price. You buy an air conditioner, and they're the ones that will last you 2 years. They're the ones that will last 20 years. They're the ones that will last 5 years, and the ones that will be dead in a year. It's just down to, and they're the ones that will work for the 20 years. There will be no complaints. Everything will freeze.
For example, speaking of ACs, I was speaking to a friend of mine recently, and he's in Doha. So his wife is a doctor in Doha, and he said the ACs in Doha are not the ACs he has ever seen before because of the temperature in AC. He said you need to see the AC I'm talking about. He said, but they need to have those kind of ACs because
really
Doha is hot.
Really hot, yeah.
He said, so if they say it's not the 16, it's like, I don't know, maybe 12 or 10, but like and the way it blows, like, you have to ask, like, where is this AC from? So just like you said, it's all about that customization. And
it's understanding your market. It's understanding what the market wants and what the market can afford. It's very interesting. So China is projecting power now, projecting soft power, projecting economic power.
You don't think that they don't need the military might, is what we're saying here. But they seem to be prepared for it.
They're working on it.
Wow.
They are working on it, and you can't blame them. China says if we're weak, then we will get oppressed one day. The US or something will come. And don't forget that China has history from World War II of being invaded by Japan in World War II. A much smaller country being invaded and having, and all the.
And I think they said it will never happen again.
So,
yes.
China for me is the most technologically advanced country in
the world. I mean, you've been several times.
Several times. So, because they're that advanced, you don't have that benefit of the economy. So they have the financial benefits, you have the technological benefits, and you will not strengthen your military and be stupid.
It just makes sense.
It's be stupid.
Because then they find a chink in your armor and they're like, okay,
and the Chinese are not
we can enter.
And China is one thing. China, like the conversation we had with Eric, China is not a nation, China is a civilization. And so they've learned their lessons, 5,000 years plus of learning, 5,000 years of making mistakes, 5,000 years of watching the world evolve around you. Means, and in 5,000 years, you've survived 5,000 years, which means there's almost a genetic resilience. There's a body of genetic knowledge. And then look at how far they've come in the last 60 years. Between World War II and today, okay, see how far they've come. And you realize that you underestimate China at your risk, at your own peril. But it's interesting, they also have their issues. I mean, I'm hearing that their population is starting to decline because of the one-child policy.
Okay, but that one-child policy, have they not scrapped it?
I think they scrapped it, but it takes
it's cultural.
It takes a few generations.
It's cultural. Mindset.
To change people's mindsets. If you have a policy, you've had one-child policy for several decades, it means you have several generations that have only one child. And it's become the norm. So people will pursue 2-3 children today. But don't forget that for most people, it's the norm they understand. And so having the second child might be, and then it still takes a while to then.
And have they also built their expenses around just a one-child family? Because the expenses of one-child family would be, you would assume that it would be, you spend less than having 2 or 3.
There's a lot more affluence. I think they've planned. Look, there's anything you know about China is central planning. So everything has been planned, and now they have these issues. I mean, you're going to have. I was reading something the other day about. You're going to have all these towns becoming empty. These towns with high rises and becoming empty as population shrinks.
Our mutual friend was saying that he saw it.
Empty flats. Shrink, empty flats, and it's going to be empty communities, empty towns, empty cities, because as population will contract, people will go where? People will concentrate around the areas where they're most needed, where they're jobs.
The cities.
In the cities and coast. So they're going to find that. It's an interesting time. But having said that, you were in Lagos over the weekend.
Yes.
Did you watch the E1 GP?
I missed it. I didn't even know what's happening.
Oh, for real?
I was busy. I just come in. I went to a friend's father's 25th remembrance on the mainland, And then I was so busy and I looked at my phone and my sister sent me a video and said, E1 is on Sky Sports. So the first thing I said, was, what is E1? What is E1? I know F1. Which one is E1 again? So it's like, okay, boat racing. Then like, okay, so why is it being shown on, Sky Sports Naija, the Marine, Lagos State sponsored it, and then everyone from different WhatsApp groups just kept on sending me different things of how all these sponsors came together to. So you like racing,
I like racing,
boat racing. I like so sports. I think Laomi will share more of this segment. Tell us about E1.
E1 is electric boat racing.
Electric boat
racing.
It's
a new racing series. It's electric boats.
Looks exciting though.
It is exciting. I mean,
right.
And they're still trying to expand around the world, so they're looking for venues, and they're trying to build a world series. And let's be honest, you can't say you have a world series if you don't touch every single continent or touch as many countries as possible.
Yep.
So they're racing in Europe, they're racing in Asia, now they're racing in Africa. It's great. It would be nice if they come back every year. It would be nice if they can come back every year. I don't know how sustainable it is from an economic perspective.
Right.
Because I guess because they're a new racing series, they probably have a budget for business development, which would be, I mean, I don't know if they actually made any money. But at this point in time, they're trying to spread the gospel of E1 and getting new people involved in it. And I mean, Lagos is a city of 25 million people. I know, certainly on the island, on this part of town, pretty much everyone knew there was the E1 GP, and it was shown live on YouTube. I watched it on Sky Sports. It was shown live on YouTube. I saw it on Sky Sports. Saw it on YouTube. It was streamed live. It was fantastic to watch. It was also exciting to see the world in Lagos.
Yes, I found that quite good, especially for the tourism efforts that they've been trying.
I mean, I don't know if
you think that brought in more people
outside Nigeria for the first time. I don't know. I don't know how much of that. But having said that, the stars were here. Drogba was here.
So they might have brought some people. They would have
people with them,
which will improve the local economy somewhat.
And
hotels.
Just draw attention to Nigeria, and just draw people's attention to Nigeria and go and see. So it's not bad. I hope it's not a one-off. I hope it's more. But I think we also need to be mindful of how expensive it is to host.
It must have been expensive. So I was hearing 20, maybe 30 million.
Yeah, I mean,
I may be wrong. If you know the exact figures, please put it in the comment section. Please, if you're here for the first time, this is Two Grown Men. This is how we just speak about different topics. Please subscribe to our channel and leave a comment as well, and like the video.
Yes, thank you very much for your support. I was saying, I don't know about $20 million. I don't know if it costs that much, but it certainly is expensive. When you think about it, there's the logistics costs of moving everybody here, all the equipment, and it's all those boats.
That's what I was going to say.
Boats will probably weigh a couple of tons each.
So they have to ship them in.
Shipping the boats, the teams, and every team will have its mechanics, the drivers, the back office personnel. So, I mean, I think they had 10 teams. I don't know how many teams there were. And you know how they will do? They want to get the ambulance team on ground. There'll be there's
medical.
Think about the security. There's logistics. There's event planning, organization.
It's huge.
It's a huge economy.
It's huge.
I then read something very funny though. I think we also like to get carried away. I read this report that said Nigeria is now applying to host a Formula One race
in Abuja. Funny enough, my very good friend, shout out to Wale if you're watching this, he said, how are they going to do it in Abuja? Because from an infrastructure point of view, we are so far behind.
I would accept.
And I said, we might not be that far behind.
We are. For Formula One race?
For Formula One race.
We are.
He said if it's a one-off race, but obviously not a season.
You can't even have a one-off race.
So it's not just about the track. Talk me through it. Talk me through it.
Let's talk about it. First of all, I don't think until I see the official Formula One race feed, news feed, and I subscribe to it, until I see it that says Nigeria has applied for a Formula One race, I'm not going to believe it. Okay. Let's talk numbers.
Yeah, let's talk numbers. Yes, let's talk numbers.
To build a standard. Now, there are racetracks all around the world. To build a standard Formula One racetrack, starting from scratch, right? First of all, there's land. You're probably needing 100 hectares of land.
100 hectares.
Something like that, okay? Because of the racetrack, the paddock, you're looking at something like 250 to half a billion dollars, 250 million to half a billion dollars. Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi costs $1 billion to build. To build the circuit.
The circuit.
The circuit, the racetrack. Okay? So let's say that
$1 billion.
$1 billion. But that's Yas Marina. So let's say.
And that's not an official.
No, it's a Formula One track.
Okay.
But one of the premier tracks is a Herman Tilke track and all that. But let's say that you didn't spend what Yas Marina spent. Let us say that you spent $500 million. Now, there's land cost $500 million, but then there's also other things. You have to have hotels. Okay? You have to have support equipment, the paddock, the hotels,
The medical.
transport, the medical facilities. Let's even say that you were able to build you were able to take over the National Hospital in Abuja or whatever it is and have your top-notch doctors and co around for the event. There's still logistics of getting people to the track. Okay, getting people into that track, getting people out of that track. What are the facilities? What infrastructure do you have available to you? So there'll be broadcast facilities. I mean, Nigeria has hosted
Media.
broadcast. Formula One is broadcast to. So the level of infrastructure that's required to host a Formula One race. Then there's the actual hosting fees, the actual
That you have to
event
pay.
fee. Yeah,
The Formula One Association.
and I heard that.
Is it FIA? Something like that?
There's FIA that's the body that sanctions it, but FIA
Right.
is owned by a company called Liberty Media. Now, there's a cost you pay the promoters. The promoter pays the owners of the sport to host an event in their country, right? And my understanding is that Singapore, which was 2 weeks last, I think Singapore was this past week. My understanding is that Singapore costs about $60 million to host per annum. And is it 60 or $50 million? And the Singaporean government underwrites 60% of that cost. So if it's $50 million, it means that the Singaporean government is paying
30 or something like that.
30 million or something of that cost. Now,
So heavily subsidized.
how does the promoter recover that money? Ticket sales, advertising, that sort of thing. How much would an average weekend race ticket cost? Maybe $1,000, maybe more than that. So how many people in Nigeria are able to afford $1,000 for the weekend, for an F1 weekend trip? Now, if you're looking at a Grand Prix that has 170,000, call it 100,000 people in the stadium, it means that you must have 100,000 people willing to pay
$1,000
for
or more
tickets, or more for their tickets. Yeah, exactly, because there'll be VIP tickets and gold.
or more seafood and merchandise and
I don't doubt, having said that the
Abuja.
Nigeria. No, forget the fact that it's Abuja. That's another thing. But it would be, people will come from all over Nigeria.
Yep.
There are people that came into Lagos this weekend because of E1GP. They came from Abuja, wherever it is. So people will go from, it's Formula One. People will go from Ghana. People will go from Kenya. People will go from
SA, wherever.
From wherever it is. Now that you mention SA, I'll tell you something. South Africa used to host Formula One races at the Circuit of Kailami. They haven't hosted one in about 20 years or more. More than 20 years. If it was that simple, South Africa has racetracks, right? South Africa has a strong motorsports culture. If it's that easy, they're just in the process of trying to bring F1 back to South Africa in 2027. They're talking about it now. And the South African economy is, I think now Nigeria is overtaking South Africa. I don't know where we are again, but that robust economy that's hosted a World Cup, that's hosted a Rugby World Cup, a Football World Cup, hosted several events, is struggling to host a Formula One race. With all the infrastructure they have and everything they have.
It's not easy, guys.
So, now, whether it will be Abuja or not, let us be frank. there are very few standard racetracks inside cities. They tend to be outside,
Outskirts,
in
yeah.
the outskirts.
Even Silverstone in the UK.
I was going to say, in the UK,
You're gonna say that,
it's Northampton. You know, so
Yes.
it's not in London. There are circuits near London, but not, you know, and that goes to show you again. Look, that
The land that you need, the 100
hectares of
hectares you talked about.
So if you're going to take 100 hectares of land today to build, you're going to reclaim. I mean, we're in the chat today, and someone talking about land being reclaimed in Lagos, and I said, land being reclaimed in Lagos is too expensive for you to tie it into a Formula One circuit.
So
It's too
expensive.
expensive. So in Lagos, you'll be looking at Epe or Ikorodu, but most likely you'll be talking about somewhere outside Lagos. In the US, where you have
It could be Osun State or something. It has to be
maybe
outside.
Oyo State or Ogun State. Ogun
Yeah.
State, I mean, works. It's plenty of land. Oyo State, Osun State. But you also then have to think about accessibility to Lagos. Where and that's where you have
The
that
commercial hub.
So if everything is coming in by air, okay, you're crossing the Atlantic. I mean, things are coming from Europe, so you're crossing the Atlantic. So a 6-hour plane ride. And then
You mean the cars?
the cars and the equipment coming from Europe. Okay, means you have to have certain facilities here. There are 20 teams, so you have to have facilities at the racetrack for the 20 teams to set up their garages, and the teams have their garage. They have their hospitality facilities as well. Then you have the broadcasters. Now for F1 there will be
All their
Sky
booths.
Sports, all the various broadcasters, because there's Sky Sports broadcasting in the UK, but there's somebody Fox or somebody broadcasting in the US, somebody else broadcasting in South Africa, in Australia. People have different rights to broadcast in different places, and then someone's broadcasting to France in French.
Al Jazeera, someone's from Al Jazeera, and yeah.
In Arabic.
Yeah.
Somebody's broadcasting
Yeah.
in Turkish. So you have multiple media houses. There'll be print media, online media, so many things. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I just don't know if our economy is mature enough yet for it. Okay.
Because it's so expensive.
It's expensive. I mean,
And it's expensive for a reason. How much is the Formula One car? Brand new. Any of them? Without going into detail whether it's
So I think-
McLaren or Ferrari or... Without going into detail if it's a McLaren, Ferrari or
So
any
I
of
think
the other ones.
the team budgets these days run into $150 million US a year. Now I don't remember if that includes the driver salaries.
Right.
I
That's just
think
the team budget.
That's just the team budget. That might not include driver salaries. So I mean, the budgets for each team, and then those teams are also businesses, and so budgets for each team would be operating budget, capital expenditure, all that every year. Look, maybe $400 million. I mean, each team. I think McLaren was valued at $1 billion recently. The McLaren team, not the McLaren car company, the McLaren Formula One team.
The team.
Was valued at $1 billion recently because somebody died.
So the people in the constructors team, the driver,
so
the
team itself,
co-driver.
And so you have up and down the grid. You have teams with different valuations. The Haas Formula One team is probably one of the least valuable teams. But you have teams like Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari. The Ferrari team will probably be, if not the most valuable team, will be one of the 2 or 3 most valuable teams in F1. If only the Ferrari team is the only team that has contested every single Formula One race. So they've been around for all this. I think F1 is 75 years old now. They've been around
Wow,
for every
it's a long time.
years. Yeah, they've been around for that entire period. And they're the only team. So there's that. Then the fact the road car division. Then the fact that they've won multiple titles with multiple drivers. You know, there's that pedigree. McLaren have won multiple titles. Williams was sold by the Williams family recently to some private equity firm. So,
Lots of changes.
I don't know if Nigeria
Is ready.
I don't think we're ready yet. It will be nice for us to eventually get to that point. But
And then is it a bucket list / checklist activity?
Is it a
or
priority
something?
now? Is this something that we should be aspiring to? I think people need to eat. I think we need to focus on building our economy. But then the other side of it is somebody would say, but what about tourism? And look, I read all the time about the countries that host these races, saying it races make no money. Every time the Silverstone contract in the UK is up for renewal, there's always is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? There's no racetrack in France. There's no Formula One race in France anymore, for example. There's no Formula One race in Germany anymore.
They can't afford it.
Yeah, they can't. Whereas it used to be at the Nürburgring, at the Hockenheim Ring, they're gone. France was this circuit that was owned by Bernie Ecclestone. I mean, France, there was Le Mans.
Yeah, I remember Le Mans. Yeah,
there was someone, Paul Ricard or Paul Ricard. Those circuits are gone.
So is Nigeria setting its sights too high on Formula One? What about Formula 2? What about any of the smaller circuit, the smaller car companies?
So I think the smaller race series also follow Formula One around as support series.
Right, okay, a support series, okay.
So I don't think you can host an F2 race without an F1 race.
Without an F1 as the premier one on top of the pyramid.
But there are other, there are other race series you could be having. You could actually have your own homegrown race series. The UK have BTCC. I know South Africa have their own touring.
So maybe create series. Our own. I like that idea.
Your own homegrown motorsport series. I mean, start with karting. You can have your own karting, your own domestic karting championship. And how much land do you need to build a world-class karting track? It's not that much. And so I think if we're looking at
the Keke guys have to apply for it. Keke.
I mean, you can have the Indians have their rickshaw.
There you go.
Racing championship. So the truth of the matter, people will watch anything race. Yeah. People watch dogs race. People watch
camels. My friend has been watching. He's been into camel racing.
Yeah.
He said because Man U are just disappointing him. So
please let's not talk about Man U. Don't hurt my feelings. Try not to wound my feelings. Jesus knows your house. Be careful.
Moving to Scotland, there's this African chief that said 400 years ago they took his land. How dare they? Atehana, King Atehana in Scotland. This Ghanaian guy is now, he reclaimed the land, some industrial estates in Scotland, and he was there for months, disrupting the peace, as they say. And they basically took him to court, and finally, a couple of days ago, he was evicted. So it was him, his queen, and some other lady that's calling her mistress that were actually evicted. Big story, global story. A lot of people are saying it's a cult. It garnered a lot of attention, 100,000 followers on TikTok and Facebook combined. And yeah, he's sticking to his story.
I think, well, look, people decrease. That's like some serious mental problems. How do you tell me that you, a Ghanaian man, and a Zimbabwean, two Zimbabwean women, I think it is, want to come and claim a forest in Scotland in the name of an ancient tribe? What tribe does the Ghanaian and the Zimbabwean have in common? This stupid thing that we say, Africa, or we're Africans. Forgetting that Africa is 45 countries?
54 countries. 54
nations.
Yeah. And we're not homogeneous like that. No. Look, different cultures.
In Nigeria, in Yoruba land, I'm a Yoruba man, and you and I are both Jebu men.
Yep.
Alright?
Yep.
And you travel 100 kilometers, 60 kilometers from Jebu to Ibadan. And let the man be speaking his Ibadan. Let the man from Oyo speak Oyo. And you see if you can understand him.
In his dialect.
Let's see if the Jebu man and the Oyo man can understand each other when they're both speaking their dialects. It is the same we're all Yorubas, okay? But 100 years ago, 200 years ago, did those people consider themselves Yorubas? Did they consider themselves one tribe?
No.
The guy from Idoani, if you hear the man from Idoani speak, I suspect that you cannot pick any words out from what he's saying.
Wow.
And you're both Yoruba men. And then there's the guy from Ekiti, the guy from Ijesha, the guy from Ondo,
Owo,
the guy from Owo.
They all have different dialects.
Yes. The man from Ijebu, the man from Eba, the man from Yewa. And are we all really understanding each other? The Yoruba man from Nigeria and the Yoruba man from Cotonou are Yorubas, right? But even how we spell our names is different. Okay, how... look at Emmanuel Adebayo, okay? His family is originally from Oyo State, I think it is. Adebayo. And then they moved to Togo, and they have to add the R to it.
Wow.
So it's Adebayor because of the way the French speak and how they pronounce things. And that tells you that. But this people like Yoruba, though. I mean, so you see how somebody from Benin Republic, how a Yoruba person from Benin Republic writes Adetunji, and it's Tounji. Whereas a Yoruba person from our part of the world
It's
writes
just TUN.
So they write Tounji.
So there are little variations. Okay.
So are we really Are we really one population? And that is within Yoruba. You take it to the southeast of Nigeria, and there are Igbos in Delta State, Delta Igbo. So people tell you they're not Igbo, they're not Igbo, they're not Igbo, they're not Ndibo, they're Igbo. They're from Anyoma or wherever it is. You know, we draw clear lines among. So when someone tells you that this land was taken from my ancestors, I claim it, and then so there's a Ghanaian and 2 Zimbabweans. Hey. 200 years ago, which of you owned that land? Which of your ancestors owned that land?
Let's say 400 years ago.
Was it the Ghanaian? How do you go and claim? Because I think there's enough evidence to suggest that the Saxons, the people who are the Gaelic, the Saxons and co are native to those lands, or they've been around there for so long. That
Yes.
I don't think the black people that were there from the days of slavery or wherever it is, I don't think they can go there and claim that we own this land. Even the Vikings. I mean, even the Vikings will not come there today and say we own this land. The Vikings came from Greenland and from Iceland and from Norway and Sweden and where they came from. Okay. But will one of them come today? Will the Viking come today? Or sorry, a Swede come today? Or Norwegian or an Icelander come today and say, I claim this forest in the name of Ragnar Lothbrok. I claim this forest, come on now. How much more you the black guy from Ghana? The Ghanaians actually ever established West Africans actually ever established an independent foothold on the British Isles. I'm not saying that people from Africa, North and West Africa, didn't cross the Atlantic.
They must have now.
And I mean, in fact, the gap between Spain and parts of North Africa is such that that people crossed by boat, and they had the Berbers and co. I don't doubt that. But did they actually establish any
foothold
dominion over that land?
Which means you have had to conquer some kings, and because that's how you.
I'm not sure. Look, I need to do my research, but
should we be fact checking this guy to see does he have a strong claim,
or just checking, or asking them to give me mental evaluation?
Mental evaluation check.
You give that guy a brain check.
Me, I just smelled BS. Maybe I watched it. That's why I just said no. This is.
That guy is crazy. Whatever he's smoking, whatever he's drinking, I think he needs to reduce his dose, or he needs to shrink. That's it. I mean, so what's your end goal? I think his end goal is just to build followership, to trend, to build a brand
social media,
and then be able to monetize that. Because like it or not, now he has
a following.
He can then take that platform. So he can move back to Ghana tomorrow and find a way to monetize.
And people still follow him.
And find a way to leverage that platform.
I mean, one of the ladies in question left the US, left her life.
Texan as well.
Yeah, and then she moved in to come and live with him in those conditions and appeared to be happy. Bush.
No lights, no toilets, no internet. No. I mean, I get.
No diffuser.
I get you wanting to unplug, but they had TikTok, so they had.
So they had internet.
They had internet. They had TikTok, so they had mobile phones. So they're not saying they.
Because the day of the question where they were evicted, he streamed it live.
So how is he charging his phone?
I have no idea. They may have a generator.
Or they might have solar powered. They might have solar power.
So they're making money from somewhere.
Clearly, I mean, how are they supporting themselves? You have to eat. You have to do certain things. You have to.
Maybe they're also getting support from people that follow them.
Support from somewhere.
Because cold people that have cold followings find it easy to raise money. Believe it or not. Because all they have to do is just raise awareness. I need this, and one of the followers is going to say,
note to self, start a cult.
We need to discuss your bucket list. We haven't done that episode.
Yeah, one day. My bucket list will take forever.
It take a long time. Right?
It's very,
Do you find that you're adding to it, or you're?
I am. You know, everything I see adds to my bucket list. The other day, on some WhatsApp group, shout out to the Feel Good crew. Somebody put up a question. It was a list of 7 things and pick 3 things. Among those things were $40,000 a month for the rest of your life. Retire at 40 with a $10 million fortune. There are a bunch of things.
Choose. Okay.
Choose 3 things. Good health for the rest of your life, and good long life and good health and stuff. And I remember just looking at it and thinking, look, I'll take the $10 million and retire at 40. And someone said, well, you're over 40. I said, so I'll retire tomorrow morning.
Yep.
I said, I'll retire tomorrow morning. And then I just live up my bucket list. But I'd be very, very busy. Someone said, can you retire? I said, yes. My bucket list will keep me busy for the next 100 years. It will keep me busy. And I think every time I took something off the list, I'd find something else to do. You know, I'd like to climb Kilimanjaro, for example. I was in it a few years ago. I'd like to climb Kilimanjaro. Somebody tells me that I'll climb Kili. And I'll be like, what's next? I'm never going to climb Everest. It's just not.
There's no incentive.
I'm a black guy.
Yeah.
Gold. That's serious. You know. My ancestors are not calling me that. My ancestors are not calling me like that. I was climbing. But you know, I can just see myself. Okay. I've climbed Kilimanjaro now. What's the highest peak? What are the highest peaks in Africa? Okay, I want to climb all of them. And then so you knock that off the list. I'd like to do this. I mean, there's always something that you can do. There's always going to be something different that you can do. So my bucket list will just never end. As long as there's money, I'll be there.
You do it. Yeah.
Do it, you know, whether it's scuba diving.
Yeah, it's important to have one. Yes, because the world is big and there's so many things to do, so many interesting things to do.
Even boat race made me want to drive a race boat on the water. I felt like
you didn't know you wanted to do it until you saw it.
No, I'm perfectly content to ride a jet ski on the water or ride a regular power.
But this looked different, man. It looked dope, man. I saw it, man.